Hi everybody, so I'm going to do my video on an app called Socrative. It's also an online program. So as you can see, there's a teacher app and a student app, or if you're on the internet, it's the same thing. There's a teacher login and a student login, so you'd have to make sure you're using the right one, but it can be used on any platform. So whether that be a Chromebook or an iPad, you can use it, and you can have your students log in right as they come to class, so you could be using it throughout class, and then they don't have to log in at the end to do the fun stuff that I'm about to tell you about. So Socrative allows you to track student performance through exit tickets, quizzes, in a game called Space Race. Space Race is very similar to Kahoot, if any of you have ever played that. The exit tickets and quizzes are cool because you get immediate feedback and it comes right up onto your computer screen on who's answering what question and whether they got it right or wrong. And then you can print out or just save a detailed report of that. So there's a free version and there's a version you have to pay for called the Pro version. The free version has limited access. So if you were really wanting to use the program, I would suggest going with the Pro version. From the little bit of time that I spent playing around on the free version, it's kind of tricky to use, and I think if you had the Pro version, it would be easier because you can set a class roster and kids can just sign in, as opposed to them having to be in the room and you have to be active and they have to be active on their tablet. The free version is kind of tricky. So this is what the main screen will look like when you log on, for a teacher anyway. And I'll get to that in a minute because I'll show you it online. I wanted to show you this picture of the Space Race because I can't actually show you this game in action. But it's a game that can be played in small groups or individually, and the students are presented with questions, quiz questions that you come up with, and they have to provide the right answer quickly and correctly in order to get points, and they want to be the first ones to win. So after your class completes that space race or a quiz or an exit slip, you get this overview on the results. So you can see that in this example, nobody in the class got the first question right. So you would go in as a teacher and use that information to tailor your next lesson. It's definitely meant to be used as a formative assessment tool. It allows you to modify what you're doing, but I would never use it as summative. You could, but it would be odd to give a kid a summative assessment on a computer. You're assessing more than what you want them to then. You're assessing their ability to use technology. Now I'm going to show you what the website looks like. If you just type in Socrative.com, this is what comes up. It's their main website. You can watch a little video about it. It talks about it a little more, and it shows you all these parts of the website. It helps you kind of get used to it. But if you were to log in, so if I made a free account, so if I was to log in, this is the screen that I see. You can see your quizzes, your rooms, and any reports that you have that you gave the kids for quiz, and you get the report back. They're all saved on here. You could also do, I really like this feature, it's pretty cool. You can do a quick question, so you could type up a short answer question. You just type it up, hit start, and then the kids answer it, and you get all their responses, and those would be saved, and you could look at them. It's a good way to poll the class in the middle of a lesson. But the feature that I really want to show you is how to use the quiz feature. So I'm going to incorporate my example into showing you how to use the quiz. So I'm going to say that I just taught a lesson about the parts of speech. We talked about verbs, adjective, nouns, all that fun stuff. So I went to the quiz section. I'm going to add a quiz. Create a new quiz. It loads. So I'm going to title this quiz Parts of Speech, because that's what my lesson was about. One cool feature about this program is that you can actually align the quiz to a standard. So you'd click on that, subject, core, class and grade level, and then the specific standard. This is really important when you're sharing your quiz. You can look up quizzes by standard. So if I taught a specific lesson to a math standard, adding and subtracting with intent, I could go look for a quiz that's about that, and I don't even have to make my own. I'm not going to do that right now. So I'm going to create a multiple choice question, and my question is going to be, which one of the following words is a verb? So my choices are going to be running, pretty, elephant, and cat. And I know that running is a verb, so that's going to be correct. And you can add an explanation to that. I don't think that question needs an explanation. So I'm going to save that question. And then I'm going to add a new one. This one's going to be a true or false question. And I'm going to say a noun is a person, place, or thing. And that's true. So we're going to save that question. So that's a pretty good quiz. I mean, I would do a few more questions if it was quiz, but for example purposes, you'd save and exit. My quiz is saved. It's now down here. I'm going to go back to the launch screen, and to launch the quiz to my class, they'd sign on to their account, I'd be on my account, I'd hit quiz, and I'd click on the parts of speech quiz, and I pick what kind of delivery method I want it to be. So instant feedback gives the feedback. They either get the question right or wrong. They see green or red, and the information goes straight to me. Open navigation, which I'll mouse. They can go back and forth between questions, change their answer. This would give you more, if you were doing a more detailed quiz, it might be nice to do this. And teacher pace means that I choose when they move on to the next question. I'm going to do instant feedback, so it requires their names and it shows them the question feedback. They don't see their final score. The questions are all the same for everybody. They don't get shuffled. So we're starting the activity. So now this is where if I had a class, as they're doing this, you'd see their name come up and which questions they got right or wrong. So say the class finished. So I finished my quiz, and you can either get reports, you can view a chart, or go back to the launch screen. So I'm going to view a chart, and it shows you this. Now if I want to see the reports, click Get Reports, and I want a whole class Excel. And you can either download it, email it, or save it to your Google Drive if you were signed in like that. It's pretty cool. Then you can just go back to your launch screen and see it all over again. The one downfall to the free program is you don't get to create classrooms or a roster list. So if you see here it says the Pro, you can deliver multiple activities at the same time in up to 10 rooms. So you could break the class into a small group, and you don't get this roster feature, which I think would be really important if you were to use it full time. So I'm going to go back to my presentation, and we're going to look at my evaluation of it. So overall, I really liked it. I thought it was kind of fun. My favorite feature was definitely the space race game. It's kind of like an alternative version to Kahoot, which is a pretty cool game. When I used it, I didn't really think it was that user-friendly. It was kind of confusing at first. It became a little easier as I used it, and I think it would definitely make it easier if you had the Pro version and you had access to all the features. But I mean, for what it is, it's a pretty cool feature, a pretty cool thing to have. I would definitely say that if you were going to use a program like this, you need to be in a technology-heavy school. You almost need to have a one-on-one program. Your kids need to have access to an iPad or a Chromebook or something with them all the time. They need to be signed in, because if you're polling the class in the middle of class, they can't be signing in as you're polling. But overall, I'd say it was a pretty cool program. I don't know if I would use it myself. I'm not that into that side of the tech program. It can be fun for games, but I don't think I would use it for the quizzes or the exit slips, because you can just do that on paper. Technology adds another piece that some kids just aren't ready for. But overall, I really liked the program, and I thought it was pretty cool. Socrative. It's a pretty cool website. It's by Mastery Connect. They have lots of other apps too, so if you want to take a look at it, that would be awesome.